Your prize for your giveaway is your targeting. It is the thing that gets you qualified people signing up versus just Joe Schmo on the internet who really doesn't care about you or your music, maybe has never even heard of you before, and probably won't ever hear about you again because they don't really care.
You are now listening to the Creative Juice podcast brought to you by Entrepreneur.io.
What's up, indies? Welcome back to the Creative Juice podcast. This is episode 341. I'm your host, Jack McCarthy, and with me, as always, is Circa today to talk about a powerful way to grow your email list, your text list, with a bribe or an offer that maybe you've thought about, maybe you've considered, maybe you've had questions about, and that is all about giveaways. That's what we're going to be talking about here today, how to grow your fan base using viral giveaways and some tips and tricks that we've learned along the way from doing this for artists at our agency and also for doing it for ourselves here at Entrepreneur.
Yeah, we've done it a few times. And the thing about giveaways is that they're just kind of like, they don't feel sexy, right? They can, but they're just kind of counterintuitive. Like you either think like, oh my God, you either overestimate or underestimate what a giveaway can do. Most often is what I've found. They're very easy to screw up. So it can be like a relatively like unexciting thing just because of like the cognitive hassle of all that. But as it turns out, like they're the most oft overlooked yet very powerful marketing tools that you can reach for.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really well put. They are overlooked. They're sometimes underestimated, often overestimated. They fit into a few different places in your music marketing toolkit, both from the standpoint of just bringing new fans into your world and also from the standpoint of nurturing your existing fans and giving them something to be excited about and engaged with. So we're going to be talking about all of that today. There are really four big elements about giveaways that I was thinking about as we were preparing for this episode that I think would be useful for all of y'all listening to consider if you're thinking about employing a giveaway in your music career, because some of these things aren't quite as intuitive as you might think. It's easy to get tripped up, I think, when it comes to planning a giveaway, and especially when it comes to figuring out what you want to give away. And a lot of artists have questions about it. I've had tons of questions over the years with artists that we've consulted with and some of our clients as we've built out cool giveaways for them. So I think the first thing that kind of comes up as a head scratcher for a lot of indies is like, what do I give away? You know, especially for artists early on, a lot of times it's like, oh, well, like, what if I just give away like $100 gift card to Amazon, something like that?
You're going to learn real quickly why you shouldn't do that.
100%. And I can actually speak from personal experience with this, not even with a client, years and years and years ago, back in like maybe 2013 or something. I did a giveaway for myself as an artist and I gave away some Amazon gift cards, and sure, a bunch of people signed up, but they didn't care about me and they didn't care about my music. And so one of the big things to kind of underline here and that I wanted to bring up is that when it comes to selecting a prize, your prize for your giveaway is your targeting. It is the thing that gets you qualified people signing up versus just Joe Schmo on the internet who really doesn't care about you or your music, maybe has never even heard of you before, and probably won't ever hear about you again because they don't really care. So it's really important to pick out a prize for your giveaway if you're planning one and you want to use it to grow your list, bring new people into the fold, get your fans talking about you. It's important to pick a prize that they will care about. And there's a few examples from the agency that I'd love to share that I think are really good ones. One of our clients, quite a few years ago now, probably like 3 years ago, we ran a pretty awesome giveaway campaign for them. It was between some sales promotions, so they wanted to do something just to give to their fans, to get them excited, to get them talking. They had been putting out a few singles, so they just wanted to get people sharing about them and their music. So what we planned for was a giveaway. It was a viral giveaway. It was like a hand-painted signed guitar. So the artist hand-painted this acoustic guitar with some brand colors, and they signed it, and they kind of hand-decorated it, and it was really cool. And we got a We got thousands of signups for it. They were obviously really stoked, and all the fans were really excited. It went massively viral. So that's one really good example. This was a country artist, so it was a cool acoustic guitar, cool looking, fit the vibe of the artist, and that was their prize. Another artist client of ours, a band, when they were getting back on the road after COVID, actually, they gave away. It was a 3-part giveaway. There was drumsticks, signed drumsticks, and 2 signed drum heads. And they gave those away, and they used it as a lead magnet, a bribe, a free offer ahead of them announcing their, return to the road tour. And that was really, really powerful and got their fans super excited during a time when, there was quite a bit of a lull for about a year where they weren't on the road. They weren't really putting out a lot of music. There wasn't a whole lot going on. So they really used this to just get their fans talking about them again out there and sharing with their friends. And it worked really, really well. And the fans were stoked about it. So 2 good examples of merch that you can't get anywhere else, that was personalized, that was hand signed, and made really, really exclusive. And those sort of giveaways, those sort of prizes work really well when you compare them to like a general gift card or cash or something like that.
Yeah. And this, we're lucky that we did the recent episode on sort of marketing as a filtration tool, because that's exactly how you want to think of any offer, right? Offers are a component of marketing. Marketing is a filtration tool. Ipso facto, offers are a filtration tool. Any offer you create should either have no respect towards finding the right person. I mean, it really should in all cases, but it should be 0 or negative. Like, it should be always filtering out the wrong people, if anything. It should never be trying to get more people to be excited about your giveaway by what the prize is.
For sure. Yeah.
Only less people. So it should, less people, better quality. You can think of it like that.
Right.
So we're filtering out the wrong people. And so your offer needs to be that. Any of your offers should kind of serve as filtration. It should be attracting the right people, repelling the wrong people. And you can do that with language and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely selecting the right giveaway is important. And this kind of weighs in on, you might be thinking like, well, I'm a new artist. I don't have a lot of fans. And so if I select something that only my fans would enjoy, like, there's going to be no one signing up for the giveaway. And it's like, yeah, maybe a giveaway is not right in your case. But yeah, if you have a fair fan base already, you definitely want to avoid like attracting tons of window shoppers with what you select.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that when it comes to deciding when is the right time to use a giveaway in your career. You're right. Really, once you start to have traction and a fan base that can talk about it and pull more people in, that's when you're going to, have the most momentum, as opposed to just going out to people who really don't know who you are and not having much of a pool to work with as far as people who already do. I think that's really important to consider. Something else that I think is important to talk about here too, and this kind of transitioned nicely to the next sort of key element that I think is important when it comes to giveaways is actually the sign up. I see artists make a lot of mistakes with this in terms of how they actually get people to sign up for giveaways. You see stuff out there online, like on social media. It's like, oh, all you need to do to sign up is use this hashtag in a post. And it's like, well, how the hell are you going to go and dig through all of those hashtags and hopefully get everyone in order to do a random drawing? Plus, you don't get any contact information from that. There's really no value. So I say that, and I use that kind of extreme example to say, you want to make the entry point for your giveaway simple, something anyone can do. And really, like, the best way to do that is get their contact info, get their email, get their phone number, whatever that might be, whichever you choose. Use that to build your list. That's what you want to do to get the initial sign up. And then you can add bonus incentives or bonus opportunities to sign up on the back end for things like sharing or listening or watching a video. And a lot of times you can use those to increase the chances of winning. Obviously, there's some legal gray area there, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one on this podcast, but you can look into that yourself. But we've done that effectively plenty of times. And there's a lot of tools out there for building viral giveaway campaigns where you can do exactly that, where you get the opt-in on the front end as their entry, and then you can allow for bonuses on the back end. We've used tools like Viper.io. We've used tools like Gleam. I'll link to these in the show notes so you can check them out if you're curious. But those are 2 good ones off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And they work really, really well.
100%. Yeah. Luckily, I am a lawyer. And so I'm clear to give you guys legal advice. And you can take everything I say now as stern legal advice. Okay. Lawyer at your service. Okay. No, I've gone, I've gone through this a couple of times. And so just to kind of like lay out the layman's interpretation here, what you want to avoid doing is creating an illegal lottery. You don't want to do that, right? At all times in your life, try to avoid creating illegal lotteries. And the way that happens is if there is any requirement of purchase to enter the contest, it could be construed that like people have to pay to potentially win a prize, which is gambling.
It's a raffle.
Yeah. So in order to do that, there's a couple of ways you can do it. One way that we've chosen in the past where we want to sort of incentivize, like we want to reward existing customers, right? So we want to incentivize. What you can do is you can create a leaderboard contest. Phrasing things as a contest and then satisfying the requirements of a contest is one way around creating an illegal lottery. So if there's if it's all luck, it's a lottery. It's gambling. If there's some element of skill involved, well, then you can sort of make it less of a lottery. It's one of the ways we've done this in the past, but by no means am I saying like you can take this to the bank. You will not be pursued by the law for this. Is to create multiple different activities. And you've seen contests like this before. It's not because they're having a bunch of fun. It's because it might increase engagement, but it is a way of increasing engagement, but it's also a way of getting around this lottery definition. Is to say, all right, if you go and leave a review on one of our YouTube videos or something, like that's X points. If you do this or that, that's Y points. If you like us on Facebook or if you comment on this post or you share it, that's X amount of points. And then whoever's at the top of the leaderboard wins. And if there's ties, you'll do a random drawing amongst the top winners. And so that also allows you to rack up a bunch of engagement on your behalf for people to win the prize. This doesn't mean that you should make like, oh, well then shouldn't I make like my prize a gift card, like general purpose so I can get all these people to like, fudge the numbers? No. I don't know how long you've been listening to this podcast, but generally no. Don't fudge the numbers. So don't do that, but I like it a lot. Now you might be thinking, okay, points, so I got to like track everyone's points and verify. No, we use Viper. So Viper does this out of the box. There's probably competitors to Viper that do this out the box.
Gleam is a good one.
Right. Yeah. So there's definitely others. What it'll do is it'll pop out a landing page for you. People can sign up with their email. Then they can access a leaderboard. They can access a list of all the different activities they can do to get points. And so for multiple reasons, I highly advise checking out like a contest format for your giveaway. If you don't do a contest format, then essentially you will have to ensure that there's no barrier to entry whatsoever. But yeah, the reason I brought all that up is just to say that like there can be certain things that only your customers can do that reward an outsized number of points.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for outlining that, Circa.
No problem.
Yeah, hopefully that answers questions about how the whole signing up process looks.
Dude, I'm just an attorney at law. And I'm here to give you legal advice.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop saying that.
Delete this.
I like to make Jack nervous.
We've talked about this, okay? Moving on, we're going to talk about consolation prizes. Maybe you've never heard that term before. Maybe you looked at me like I have 400 heads right now. Consolation prizes are a really good way to make it so that everyone who enters your giveaway or your contest can be a winner. And this can work really well to make people feel like, oh, damn, like I didn't win the thing, but I'm still getting something. What that means, a consolation prize is you didn't win, but I still have something for you. And you can do as many of these as you'd like or as few of these as you like. Maybe you have a second, third, fourth place prize. Maybe you have a second, third, fourth winner that you pick randomly. Maybe everyone gets a consolation prize. This is something that we've employed often at the agency when we run giveaways and contests for our clients is merch discounts, special offers, sending people over to the store. And what this allows you to do is you can monetize on the back end of a giveaway from all the people who didn't win. And it's pretty sick and it works really well.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty surprising how well it works. Giving people a gift, it works so well.
It's so good. And it's like, man, I feel it sucks so hard because like these aren't easy things to run, right? Like they're a month-long project, and it sucks so hard if you got to the end of like a contest or a giveaway and you didn't do that.
For sure.
Or like, and I think it's best to frame it like you get to choose what frame you put this in, how you explain it to people. I think it's best to frame it as a prize and not like oh, sorry, you lost. Here you go.
For sure. Yeah.
If you can phrase it as a prize, you could say like, for the leaderboard, the top half get this, right? So you're excluding some people. And if you do win it, you don't feel as if like you just got a participation trophy. And that increases your ownership of it. You're saying, I did something to get this. I didn't just get it by default. And thereby, because you feel ownership over this prize, you're much more likely to claim it.
Right.
If you're much more likely to claim it, it means you're much more likely to buy something. So yeah, this is just a little bit of nuanced inside baseball tips and tricks on how to do that.
We did this with a band that we were running, the same band that we were doing the drumsticks and drumhead giveaway with. They had launched shortly after the contest, the giveaway, they had launched a line of tour specific merch. And so what we did was we gave everyone who didn't win the prize, we gave them early access and we surprised them with it. We were like, surprise, this is like something that you're getting because you participated, or I don't know if we said because you won. I think we might have said because we participated. So we didn't lead fully into your angle there, Cirque, but we gave them early access. We rewarded them with early access and a discount on this tour merch. And we were like, you get first dibs. It's going to go fast. So we wanted to make sure that you had the first access to it. And that really helped to monetize on the back end of this opt-in. It was great.
Yeah, man. Lots of cool stuff you can do with contests. Again, like I'm not terribly excited about running another one for Entrepreneur anytime soon because they can be like, to do them right, it can be a bit of a lift.
Yeah.
But like, it's sort of one of those things where like, I know deep down that it's one of the most powerful like campaigns we can do for top of funnel.
Yeah, for sure. I think the place where I see a lot of artists, bands, and just businesses in general fall down on these. And speaking of lift, this is another area where like it shows that this takes effort to do, is actually in the follow-up to this, the automated messaging that happens after someone signs up, what happens as you're leading up to the end of the giveaway or the contest, all of that kind of messaging that happens automatically, and the work that you need to do to make that happen, how you do countdowns, how you remind people to share, all of that stuff that happens over email and text is so important because it keeps the flow of this. If you've got something that's running for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, you got to remind people. Otherwise, the 1 or 2 times that you post it and maybe the ads you're running, that's not enough. People need to see it more, and they need to feel like it's an event that's happening. And what allows you to do that is the follow-up and the messaging. And I see this fall short all the time. So if I can make a recommendation, just shooting from the hip here on what I would say to do if you're considering running a giveaway or a contest to your fans, is make sure that once they sign up, they get an email or a text from you right away, ideally an email, so that you can be a little bit, more congratulatory, have more than just a short amount of information to send them, be heartfelt. Make sure that they get that. Then make sure the next day that they get reminded of the extra things that they can do and how they can continue to participate. Let them know when you're about midway through. Let them know in the 2 weeks leading up to the end, in the 1 week leading up to the end, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, and last day. Like, make that part of the cadence that you build. Don't build this and then try to play catch up after the fact. Planning it makes it so much easier to do. So I can't recommend that enough. It's a lift. It's hard. It's worth it. And it will definitely increase the frequency at which your fans see and participate in the giveaway or contest, and also the frequency at which they bring other people into it, which is just as important when it comes to viral giveaways.
Agreed.
And speaking of which, just like a couple small pro tips that kind of came to mind, things that I've kind of put into our playbooks or had in my back pocket whenever I run giveaways or when our team runs giveaways for clients, things that you can think about that might spice it up a little bit. This one, when it comes to messaging in particular, is we've used this both in giveaways and in crowdfunding campaigns, and it's surprisingly effective in both, is if you've got a prize and it's part of your giveaway or contest, right? Something that you're giving away, or maybe a few prizes. Think about ways that you could add to that, like up the ante as you go. There are cool ways that you can do that. Like I said, we've done it in crowdfunding campaigns where maybe for a short period of time, you add in a bonus incentive. You can do this kind of thing with a giveaway as well. Like midway through, you can be like, oh, by the way, I'm adding to the prize. It's this.
Yeah.
And that could be anything. That could be low cost things like signatures or personalization, additional personalization. It could be, doubling what the prize is. The kind of the world is your oyster and the sky's the limit as far as your creativity goes. But that's a really good way to kind of boost up your engagement halfway through or a quarter of the way through, however you would want to cadence it. That can work really, really well. Another thing when it comes to messaging, and this is something that I think a lot of artists are reluctant to do. I was actually recommending a manager friend of mine a couple months ago on this, was get in the comments with fans when you're running these sorts of campaigns. Like, don't just rely on email and text. If you've got posts going, and especially if you're using organic social media and you're asking people to comment, get in the comments with them, get into messages with them, start talking, because that's just going to boost up engagement. It's going to show the social media platforms, the organic algorithms, that there's activity happening on this post, and it's going to get wider distribution because of that. More people are going to see it. You kind of get that windfall of activity. So it's just good to do. And it shows people that like this is actually something that you are a part of. And it's not just like your marketing team or your marketing person or one guy in the band or whatever. It's you, and you're engaged and involved and you care about it. And that goes miles when it comes to any kind of successful marketing campaign, but I think especially giveaways. It makes fans feel like, oh, this is like something that really is coming from the heart.
Yeah, it's also like that tip you gave about adding something in midway. I see no reason to not always do that, because it's almost all upside. Because like, let's sort your audience who will get the message about your giveaway into two groups. The first group is people who, no matter what the prize is, right, they will sign up or they'll participate. And the second group is they're going to either not participate no matter what, or inspect the prize to determine if they're going to participate. Or even let's split that into two groups. People who are going to inspect the prize and determine, should I participate? Is the prize good enough? And then people who will never join. Okay.
Right.
I think that I think there's zero people who are going to inspect the prize to determine. Now, like within reason, right? If the prize is like, not like, I'll send you a thank you email, right? If it's something of material value, then that's going to be zero. There's not really a whole lot of people who are like, I see we got the drumsticks, but there's no t-shirt. And so I'm out. And then later, once you add it in, they're going to join. And then the people who will never join are never going to join. So the reason I say it's all upside is because there is a class of people who won't see your initial message. There is a class of people who will ignore any message unless it's like an update or like you're adding to it. So you have the potential to catch a few more people's attention with an additional message about updating or adding to the prize. It generates more excitement. It's an acceleration of excitement versus like a static level of excitement about the prize.
Right. Yeah.
So you have the chance to like shake loose a few more people, but what do you lose by that? Almost nothing. And even those people, if there are people who like inspect the prize and are like, it's not enough, I'm not going to do it, you're still probably going to shake them loose by announcing it, more prizes. So I think it's just a good best practice. Like it's a best practice.
For sure. It's just an additional at bat, really.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true. It's super good. It really works. The last thing that I'm going to mention, and this kind of relates to the wind down of your campaign, and that's highlight the winner, shout them out. A friend of mine, a producer friend of mine, just ran a giveaway last week at the time of this recording. Last week, he just wrapped up a giveaway, and he shared out the winner. It was like a plugin prize package, a bunch of plugins, producer stuff. So EQs and compressors and stuff like that, a big bundle that he hand curated. That was pretty cool. And he shouted out the person who won. Like, they sent him this super nice message. And they were like, man, this is going to change, this is going to change my life. This is going to change my work, my career. Like, I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I've learned so much from you. And it really means the world to me that you did this. Thank you so much. And he shouted the person out and made them feel good. And what that does for the rest of the audience is, one, like, there's a little bit of the sting of losing where it's like, oh man, like, this guy won and look at how happy he is. Like, I kind of wish that was me. There's also an element of like, this guy won and look how excited he is. That's really cool if you got sort of like the community thing going on with your fan base. But what it does is it shows, again, it brings the human side to your giveaway. It shows fans that there was positivity at the end of all of it, that it meant something to someone. And when you do a giveaway again later, more people are going to remember that. They're going to remember like, oh man, remember the last time that they did a giveaway and how stoked the winner was? Like, maybe that could be me this time. And so shout out the winner, talk about them, share them on your social media, send out an email, giving them a big congratulations for winning. Let everybody know about it. Just let people know. I think so often like giveaways will be run and then you just never hear about the winner, and that just kind of sucks. Like, you feel like you signed up into a void.
100%. Yeah. And it really is like, again, like, I'll indexically reference like the kind of pain in the ass that it is to run these campaigns, although well worth it. You oftentimes will just not have the energy, or you won't have thought about it, right? So you don't have this follow-up plan. So that's why we're telling you in advance, is like, plan it out when you plan out the contest. Plan out what's going to happen in the 2 weeks after the contest, because yeah, like, you can squeeze a lot more juice out of the fruit, so to speak, by doing that. But if you don't plan it out in advance, you won't want to do it when it comes time. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope that this kind of 30,000 foot overview of giveaways and some best practices from us, and, a few tactics here and there and some pro tips that you can keep in your tool belt are useful. Giveaways are super powerful, especially ahead of a new release season, ahead of a launch, ahead of a sales cycle. Anything like that, they can be really, really powerful to get fans excited, get them engaged and activated, so that then when you're ready to do the next thing, they're ready for it and they're paying attention. And that's a great time to use them. So I hope that you consider these tools and consider these strategies and consider a sweet giveaway. We'd love to hear about what you guys do. So let us know. And we'd love to hear about cool prizes that you've tried. Definitely let us know. And other than that, we'll catch you next time on Creative Juice Indies. Go give away something cool.
Give some stuff away and take my legal advice.
Peace out.
Can y'all really feel us? East Coast, feel us. West Coast, feel me. Say what?